the one and only, the inimitable Ade Oladipo. There he is, joining us from the green chair, the infamous green chair. What a legend this man is. Hello, Ade. How are you?
What a reception. I mean, that introduction was incredible. It was. And I feel like I need to bring some joy to you, Ariel. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see you were huffing and puffing away there about Dana White. And I was like, I've got to come and save the day here.
Well, that's why I booked you first, because I just needed some positivity, some ray of sunshine after all of that negativity. I mean, what a crazy thing. But I have to say, Ade, right off the top here, and stick with me here, because I am actually not trying to embarrass you, even though you may think I'm trying to embarrass you. The first interaction that we ever had online was you DMing me back in 2020 to come on your YouTube channel, right? And I only found this message this past weekend when I followed you on Instagram, which is a great thing. But here's the beauty of it, right? You were saying, please come on my YouTube channel. In the end, who interviewed who first? In the end, who had who on one show first? That's the respect and admiration that I have for you. Could you imagine that?
It's crazy. Yeah, you aired the message. And I said, please, please, please. I even done the prayer sign. I got nothing back from you. And that was like 3 years ago. But look, you're a busy guy. And look, I'm honored to be on the show. I'm honored to be on the show. You gave me all the plaudits in the beginning, but watching you work, and I've been almost stalking you for the last 10 years and just watching what you do. It was a privilege to finally work with you on Saturday. It was a great card as well, both of us in Dublin. The noise, they always say the Irish make the most noise when it comes to sort of combat sports. And obviously you would have seen it with Conor, but Katie's fans made just as much noise. Disappointing in the end for her because of the result, but ultimately, I thought boxing won. It was fantastic for big-time boxing to be back in Ireland. And I thought we covered it very, very well.
Yes, and you did as well. You were right in the middle. You got to be in the ring interviewing both of them. Was Saturday a failure ultimately for boxing because she didn't win? Did she have to win, or is it okay that she got back home? She had the homecoming. It was a great fight, right? They might run it back, and I'll ask you about that in a moment. But ultimately, with her not winning, and let's be honest, the last 3 Irish fighters on the card did not win as well, and the Cully one really took the air out of the arena. Is it a failure when they don't win at the top?
I don't know if it can be as simple as success or failure. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Look, major success would have her winning, her holding all the belts and being the champion at 140. But I think the ultimate goal and the initial goal was to get big-time boxing back in Dublin. And as you said, there were 9,000 in the arena at like 7 o'clock, which doesn't happen in boxing. Me and you were together at Tank Garcia. I mean, it's empty until co-main, maybe not even main. So I think it was success. Obviously, look, she didn't win, and that's the disappointment. But that's the risk you take when you take these high-level fights. Moving up in weight class was never going to be easy for her. But she'll be disappointed. I know Katie personally, and she's going to be very, very upset. But I think the biggest goal, and I think she'll say this looking back in a few years, the biggest goal was to get big-time boxing back to the Free Arena, back to Dublin, and she did that. And I think that's what we can take from it.
I'm taking off my journalist hat for a moment and putting on my Katie Taylor fan hat. As a fan, I don't want to see it again because I don't know if she beats Chantelle Cameron even at 135 pounds. If you're Brian Peters, her manager, if you're Eddie Hearn, her promoter, are you, pulling the trigger on this rematch clause? Are you doing this dance again?
I'm so happy you asked me from their perspective, because I'll give you their perspective than mine. I think mine's similar to yours. I think their perspective is you run it back. You run it back because that's what fighters do. Canelo, Bivol. I don't think Canelo can beat Bivol at 168 or 175. You run it back. I didn't think Conor could beat Nate Diaz at 170. You run it back. Fighters will always want to run it back, especially because the scorecards, although I don't think the fight reflected the scorecards, I thought Chantelle won it by maybe 7 rounds to 3, maybe 8-2, some people were saying. But because it was a majority decision, that will give her something to go on. And she will run it back. Katie's just a fighter. That's what she does. Now, putting my Ade hat on, I don't want to see it again. I don't see how she beat Chantelle. From the first 30 seconds, me and you were obviously next to each other, and we both kind of looked at each other like, whoa, this is going to go one way. And I don't know what adjustment she can make. Even if she drains her down to 135, I don't know if that's enough to get the win. There's other fights out there. Michaela Meyer was ringside. Amanda Serrano's out there as well. Alicia Baumgardner could come up. Because you have a rematch clause, it doesn't mean you have to run things back. It's there as a precaution. There if something happens. It doesn't mean you exercise that rematch clause all the time. So I don't want to see it again, but I think it will happen again.
Is it a different fight at 135?
No, I really don't. I actually think the only reason we're seeing Chantelle as a 140 fighter is because Katie had everything at 135 and Chantelle couldn't see a way to get to the goal with the belt. So she went to 140. I think if she walks around healthy in between fights, I think she can make 135. I think she's a big girl, but I think she'll make it. And then she'll balloon up on the night to be even bigger than Katie. So for me, I just don't see how Katie wins that fight. I really don't. And no, look, Katie's a special fighter. I didn't, there's been so many rematches where I couldn't see the loser becoming the victor second time round, and they did. So I don't want to rule out Katie, but all my money, and I don't have much, all my money would be on Chantelle to do it again.
The result on Saturday, does that put Croke Park to bed? Does it mean like it just, to me, it's like you had one chance to bring her back home and she loses in that first chance and it's not at Croke Park. I don't know if it feels like a big deal and worthy of Croke Park if it's a rematch with her coming off a loss. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think that's difficult. I think it was always going to be difficult, Croke Park. I speak to a lot of people that live in Ireland, and although there were some stories that she can fill 80,000 and she can do this, some people kind of felt like it was a bit far-fetched. Stadium fights are rare. I think we've almost come to think that everyone can do 70, 80,000 tickets. You can't. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing an arena that is going to be jam-packed and the noise levels are going to be just as incredible. I think for it to happen at Croke Park, I think she needs to fight Chantelle again, win that convincingly, and then maybe the appetite for Serrano happens. And that's probably why she wants to sort of run it back with Chantelle. But I think it's difficult. It's a shame they don't have sort of an in-between in a 30,000 sort of seater stadium they can do it in. I just think the difference between the Free Arena and Croke Park is like 70,000 seats. And I just don't know how you can bridge that gap right now, especially going into this after a loss.
Considering all the miles that she has racked up, not only in boxing, pro boxing, but amateur boxing, Olympic Games, all that stuff, and a pretty solid soccer career, football career as well. Considering all those miles, have we possibly reached a point where she can't beat Amanda Serrano, Chantelle Cameron, Alicia Baumgartner, Michaela Mayer? Is this truly like the back nine, if not maybe like the back three of Katie's career?
Yeah, it's certainly the back nine. Look, whether or not it's the back three, I guess is for maybe another discussion, but it's certainly the back nine. I mean, she's 36. It's weird how some people are afraid to admit when a great fighter's on the slide. I mean, I've seen her wars with Delphine Persoon too. Amanda Serrano was a war. Christina Linadatu, no one talks about that fight. Tasha Jonas, and now again on Saturday, you can't keep going to the well. Sometimes you're going to go there, and there just simply isn't any water there. And I think we saw that on Saturday. She tried at times, but these girls now are younger, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're fresher, and they've always looked at Katie. Katie's never looked at them. They've studied Katie for the last 10 years, like that's who we're going to fight, that's who we're going to beat. Katie's never looked back at Chantelle or Alicia or any of these girls. So I feel like they've almost studied her for so long, they know exactly her weaknesses and her strengths. So yeah, look, it is the last chapter. There's maybe, I think, 2 or 3 fights. I personally, and I know a lot of people don't agree with this, I thought it would have been perfect to go out after the Amanda Serrano win. I thought Madison Square Garden was as good as it ever was going to get. It was half Puerto Rican, half Irish. It was a fantastic fight. You beat a legend in Amanda Serrano. It would have been so nice for her just to take the gloves off, put them in the center of the ring and say goodbye. But I guess the want to fight back home kept her going. And now she's lost. The want to get a get back will keep her going.
And so at this point, you've been to a lot of these events. You've covered a lot of them as a journalist working for DAZN. I mean, one week you're at KSI Joe Fournier. The next week you're in Dublin for. You're there commenting on like these 2 400-pound dudes he's swinging away. I mean, it's crazy shit that you're there. And then you're at Katie Taylor against Chantelle Cameron. It's an unbelievable life. Eddie said one of the best, if not the best, fight weeks of his career. One of the best, if not the best, atmospheres for you. Where would you rank Saturday night?
I think it definitely cracks my top 3.
Wow.
I think it's there. I think the best I've ever been to is a boxer called Josh Warrington. He fought in Leeds in a rugby stadium called Headingley against Mauricio Lara, who fights actually on DAZN this weekend. That was just sensational, honestly sensational. And then I think Serrana Taylor, and then this one. And I'll say this one, people might say that's just an exaggeration because it's recent. It's because I walked in and it was already 80% full. And I love that because, again, having covered the sport, even the biggest ones, whether it be Canelo, AJ, again, the Ryan Garcia, Tank, even the biggest ones, you walk in and it's empty. And it's almost soul destroying because, as you said at the top, I'm a big MMA fan. You watch all the UFC events and it's like everyone wants to get their value for money. They want to get there as soon as the doors open. You don't really see that in boxing. So to see the Irish there from 7 o'clock, I was like, wow, this is going to be a good night of boxing. So yeah, it was a great night. The noise levels when she walked out, it felt like it was about 2 hours to get her from the stage to the ring. Me and you were like, come on, what's going on? Like, is she going to walk or not? But it was a fantastic night of boxing. So yeah, atmosphere levels, I think it sneaks into my top 3.
By the way, is that the same Leeds that's bottling it, like Arsenal that's bottling it, like Liverpool is bottling it? I mean, the same. It's just a lot of bottling going on. Not Nottingham, baby. Come on, you were there when they scored, right? I mean, what a goal, right?
That's crazy. Honestly. Nottingham Forest, your new adopted club. And look,
hey, is that a shot? What is it? I mean, is that a shot? I mean, I felt like that was a bit of a shot.
I mean, you've adopted them.
Yeah, okay.
They love you. You show me all the players DMing you. Obviously, the fame has got to you a little bit. But no. I think what Forest have done this season is incredible. Incredible. It's a
you guys don't talk
story.
about them enough on TalkSport. Can we talk about them a little more on TalkSport? I mean, there's no love for Forest. One of the great stories in all of sports.
It's funny actually. All the teams. So like TalkSport, I'm going to be honest with you. It's like top 6 heavy, and a lot of the so-called smaller teams do have a moan that we don't cover them enough. But we need to start, and we will. Okay. I'll speak to the boss.
If you need an expert to come on to talk about Brandon Morgan.
Yeah, I know someone. I know a good man.
Stevie Cooper. I mean, don't get me started on Stevie Cooper. I mean, come on. Did Devin Haney deserve to beat Vasiliy Lomachenko? You're so crazy. You stayed up afterwards to watch that fight. I mean, you're insane. You guys are nuts over there watching this stuff in the middle of the night. Yeah. You were proper buzzing for it. Did he deserve to win that fight? Did he earn it?
He did. Oh, did Devin?
Yeah, Devin. No. Devin, yeah.
No, not at all. No.
Okay, so you're in the robbery camp?
Lomachenko. No, it's not a robbery. All that nonsense of robberies, it's ridiculous. I mean, unless you scored that like 9 rounds to 3 to Loma, and then the swing's that big, Devin gets it, I can understand. But I think at best we had it 7-5 Loma. And look, I'm a Loma fan, so I'm probably watching it and giving those close rounds to Loma. I can put my hands up on that. But I thought Loma did enough. I thought Loma's work was better. And I just think he won it 7 rounds to 5. And I'm not jumping on the bandwagon with other pro boxers, but every pro boxer I've seen has said Loma won that fight. And sometimes you always go with them because they've been in the ring. They can probably see things that you can't. And everyone seems to be saying that Loma won, but certainly not a robbery. I thought Devin boxed well, but I just think Loma was a magician. And I think he deserved to be undisputed that night. And seeing him cry in the dressing room after, almost made my, like he worked so hard. He's 35. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was his last big chance and he didn't get it. And it's a shame.
Well, would you like to see them run it back? I know Shakur Stevenson was in the ring, and that's going to be incredible whenever that happens. They've got a good little rivalry brewing, but I kind of feel like Loma deserves it. What do you think?
You've got to run it back. You've got to run it back. And I mean, I'm hearing or reading online that Devin Haney signed a new 2-fight deal with Top Rank. So it's easy to run it back as well. And look, Devin's going to, obviously Devin is prideful. He's going to see what everyone's saying. He'll see it and he'll be like, you know what, let's go again. Let's go again. Loma's a bit older as well, a bit more wear and tear on the body. Devin's younger, bigger, fresher. I think if you can't make Devin Shakur next, and I don't think they're going to be able to make that next, give Loma another shot. And I think he deserves another shot as well.
I thought Saturday was such a great night for boxing. 2 undisputed fights, 4 great fighters, 2 amazing, fights that delivered. I mean, I was edge of my seat for Taylor and Cameron. It was like a roller coaster ride. Is she going to win? Is she not? Is she going to dig down deep? She digs down. I mean, it was amazing. Then that fight was amazing. And I tweet about it and I get all this shit. Oh, such a fanboy. Oh, it's a robbery. I mean, you're the boxing expert. Well, wasn't it a great night? Isn't that what we want from boxing? Yeah, there's close fights. This is going to happen. By the way, everyone would have complained. The one that was going to be the robbery, the one that was tailor-made to be the robbery was Taylor beating Cameron after that fight. And then she wins. Everyone's like, all right, cool, let's go get a bite. No, let's applaud the fact that they got it right. The same way you're shitting on the judges in Nevada who maybe didn't get it right. But overall, what do we want more than anything in boxing? We just want the big fights to be made. And on Saturday, 2 big fights were made. And they happened. And they delivered. Isn't that what we want?
It's difficult to please boxing fans. I mean, when you go on Twitter, it's like the cesspool after. It's horrible. You can never please them. I'm with you. You got 2 undisputed fights. Both arenas sold out, packed. Boxing's trending. And that's what we want. It's been a good sort of 3-month run in boxing. The Tank Ryan fight, the Canelo homecoming before that, after that. It's still not enough. I'm telling you now, if Loma won that fight, there'd be people going online saying it's a robbery Loma side. You can't please them. I thought it was a great night of boxing. I think boxing won in the end. But boxing fans, sometimes, I don't know, we just want more. We just want more and more. We'll always find something to get us angry. And people go on Twitter and like, just chill. Just enjoy what we got. It was a great fight. It was a great chess match between 2 great fighters. Enjoy that. But no, not enough. By the way, you've not said anything about my Dimitri Bivol jacket.
I wasn't sure if I should address it. I mean, it seems like, isn't Canelo like the zone guy? I mean,
yeah, he is. Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Yeah.
Are you?
No, it just means
you're a Bivol guy?
When I done the fight, everyone was Team Canelo, and I was like, well, this is unfair. Like, why is everyone on the broadcast Canelo fans?
Yeah.
Like, this is not fair. Like, Bivol, I'm happy to be your fan. He gave me the top after the fight.
That's like, his?
That's his.
Wow.
After the fight. That's literally, he done the press conference. I saw him after the press conference. He took it off and gave it to me.
Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it. No?
No, you can't watch it.
I don't know if I should frame it. I think I might frame it.
Yeah, I think you need a better... it's not bad, but this looks like it's your own. If you frame it, then it's like, oh, that's his. It's just hanging on a hook like it's at Marks and Spencer right now. You know what I'm talking about? Can I ask?
Golly.
Yeah, golly. Francis Ngannou. Yes. Can he beat Tyson Fury? Like, tell me of this list. Hey, wait. Fury, Joshua, White, Chisora. Can he beat any of those 4?
No.
Not even Chisora?
Not even Chisora. No. I'll be.
You're not going to back your African brother? Come on, man.
Chisora is also African.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, he can't. No, look, he's powerful. He's big. He's strong. He's not the best striker. If we're being brutally honest, it can be a bit wild. But then again, neither is Deontay Wilder. But I don't think so. I'd be shocked. I mean, the first 2, forget it, that you just mentioned, Tyson Fury, AJ, absolutely no chance. Chisora's got a lot of miles on the clock, and I guess if Francis Ngannou catches him, you never know. But I mean, some of the things, and look, Chisora is not the greatest boxer in the world technically, but even he will be able to show Francis Ngannou some looks that Francis just hasn't seen before, and I think it will confuse Francis. I love Francis. And I hope that there is this big crossover boxing fight for him. But I don't think he'll be successful if he were to take on anyone in and around the top 15. I'd be very, very surprised.
Okay, so that's what I was going to follow up with. As an MMA and boxing fan, as someone who's a fan of Francis, is there a part of you that just doesn't want to see this happen because you know it won't end well for him? Just stick to what you're good at right now, and that's MMA? Or are you intrigued enough to where you want to see him, but just maybe fight, a lower level heavyweight off the bat?
No, I'm certainly intrigued. I would love to see him have a boxing match, mainly because I want to see him get paid. I want to see him get paid. I think his story is incredible. I think he's such a nice guy. He's a humble guy. And with that kind of backstory, you always want to see the good guys win. So I want to see him have a boxing match. I just hope it doesn't affect, and it shouldn't, a big MMA fight down the line. Like if he were to get absolutely destroyed in boxing or knocked out, how does that then affect his MMA career? Is he still the baddest man on the planet? But I want to see him in there against someone. I think the problem is it's a difficult sell. For him to make the money he wants, he's going to have to fight one of the top dogs, right? So the Furies, the AJs, the Wilders, those are the 3. I'd love to see him versus Wilder, because technically Wilder's not great either. And for me, it's the case of who lands first. I want to see that, but I just don't know how well he'll do against them. I think there are levels within boxing, let alone someone without a boxing background coming into the sport and taking on some of the top dogs. But Like, I wish him all the best because I'm a huge fan of his.
Does that mean you think Nathan Diaz is losing to Jake Paul?
No, pause. No way. No.
What?
No. You know what? The funny thing is,
Jake's the boxer.
I do wish. Yeah, I know, but I do wish that Nathan maybe took this fight 5 years earlier. I'm a bit nervous, if I'm honest with you. Jake Paul is big, young, fresh, can hit supposedly. I just wish Nathan maybe went into this. Look at me calling him his full name, Nathan.
I love it.
I just wish he went into this. Yeah, respect, right?
Yeah, respect.
I wish he'd done this like 5 years ago.
So that means that you're a little bit worried.
I'm a little bit worried. I am. And I'm a big Nate Diaz fan. And I'm a bit worried that maybe he gets caught. Maybe he gets caught. Because look, we know he gets caught, right? Even in MMA, he gets caught. It seems to wake him up and you can't put him down. But I mean, Jake's a big boy. You've interviewed and met Jake personally. He's not small. He's a big lump. So yeah, I think I lean towards Jake, but I mean, all my money would be behind Nate.
What's a bigger fight in the UK, Jake KSI or Jake Diaz?
Jake KSI by a million miles.
Jake KSI sells out Wembley Stadium. Am I wrong? Easy, right?
Like that.
So what are they doing?
Tickets
Why are they messing around? Like, why don't they just make this fight?
I'm not quite sure what's going on. I see Mams Taylor sort of tweet a few things about Jake Paul, and I think both want it. You speak to KSI, he wants it. Jake wants it. I don't know if it's a money issue. I don't know if it's a case of Jake wants the fight to be in the US, whereas I think the fight's bigger in the UK. Well, actually, what do you think? Do you think the fight's bigger in the US? I think it's a bigger fight in London.
Has to be in the UK.
Has to be in the UK, right?
Yeah. KSI just not as well known here in America. Like he's known, but not like the UK. No way.
Okay. So do you think Jake's more known in the UK than KSI is in the US?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so then then it's got to happen in the UK. I mean, it honestly would sell out Wembley within an hour. Yeah, easy.
Who wins?
90,000, easy.
Can you say who wins?
Trying to get me sacked, Ari. I just got in the door. I just got in the door, Ari.
Okay, sorry.
I've not even bought the mansion or the West yet. What are you doing?
I just wanted to know. I mean, we asked the tough questions here. Okay, fine. You're pleading the fifth. Yeah. By the way, the move is KSI. Just say KSI because you're on the Misfits broadcast. Just say your man KSI.
No, but you've got to be.
You got to be.
I don't want to be that guy. Yeah. I don't want to be that guy.
No, I know.
Yeah. Right now, I guess you've got to swing Jake Paul right now. You've got to. He's the one that's been in the fights. But KSI is looking very good.
KSI undefeated.
Looking very good. Yeah. I just wonder what weight it's going to be at because KSI is significantly, I think, smaller than Jake Paul.
KSI Tommy Fury, could that sell out Wembley? No, right? Is that big enough?
Sell out Wembley. No, a smaller stadium, maybe a 50,000, 45,000 seater stadium. It's a big fight.
That's pretty big.
It's a big fight. I wonder where they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it at Wembley Arena.
Okay.
Would you work on that card? Are you anti-Misfits? Are you going to come and join me?
I'm not anti. See, now you're trying to get me in trouble. No, I was actually thinking of working on the card, but then I showed up to the event on...
You got it like that you're just thinking? Like, you'll decide?
Yeah, of course. But then I show up to the event on Saturday, the beautiful 3 Arena in Dublin town, and I thought I was the king of the double-breasted, and you show up with a double-breasted. I'm like, there's only room for one on this broadcast. I was actually going to turn and go back to the hotel, go back to the beautiful Samuel Hotel. You show up with the double-breasted. Come on. And then I hear you calling yourself the king of the double-breasted. I felt like that was a bit of a shock.
I'm known as the king of the double-breasted, yeah. I got quite a few. And I came with the green as well, just to represent, obviously, the wonderful country of Ireland.
Right.
But no, anyway, back to it. You skipped over it. Are you going to work on the...
I don't know. Now I'm feeling a little bit like it's a bit of a turf war. Like you just like... you're like Izzy when he walked into the cage for the first time, you peed on the ground. Like, you want a double-breasted? I got a double-breasted, and mine's fully green, not just green stripes. It's just all green. Talk about a cheap pop.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Izzy, I get a lot of hate for the way in which I pronounce his name. As someone who is from Nigeria, correct? You are born in Nigeria. Can you tell the world how to pronounce Israel's last name?
Adesanya.
Adesanya, thank you.
Yeah.
So what is this?
How are they doing it?
Adesanya. Israel Adesanya.
Oh, no. Ban that.
Off. Come on.
Horrible.
I know.
Yeah, pronunciations are so important. Adesanya.
Adesanya.
Yeah.
The man, right?
It's really, like, honestly. By the way, I love Izzy. Oh, my. And that's why there was about 2 months where I didn't know, I was so confused with my life when Izzy and John Jones were going back and forth with each other. And I was like, I don't know what to do here because I'm the biggest John Jones fan.
Oh, really?
And Izzy, my Nigerian brother, yes. And I was like, please stop. I don't know who to support in this feud. So I'm happy it's over, and I'm happy that they never fought because I wouldn't have known what to do.
I'd still love to see that fight. That's a huge fight. Or Francis versus John Jones. They're going at it. Who do you side on that one then? Because you like Francis too.
I do, but John.
You go John over Francis?
I do, yeah, I do. I've just loved John from the get-go.
Typical
John's
Liverpool
the GOAT.
fan,
He's the greatest of all time.
I
I've
mean,
loved him.
Fair weather. You're a plastic fan. That's what you are.
No, I'm a John Jones fan.
Really?
Which could be a plastic fan as well, actually. You are correct.
Number one? He's your number one guy?
Of all time. Yeah, of all time. I think he could have been, and look, he's big anyway as a superstar, but I think he could have been just enormous. I think he will look back in 10 years' time. I don't know, will he? I don't know. I hope he looks back in 10 years' time with a hint of regret of what could have been. And it's funny because he's a 2-weight world champion, but I think he could have been just enormous.
When Izzy gets on the microphone and speaks in the native language, is that not like, does that not like give you chills? That must give you like electricity through your body, right? I mean, when he says it with such like passion, I wish I knew what he was saying in those moments.
It's incredible, especially when he weighed in for Pereira, and Pereira came with all his sort of regalia, and Izzy had our Nigerian sort of Yoruba sort of it was like, did you see it? Like it was
it was incredible.
Yeah, and he had that, and I was like, Izzy's representing all of us, and because we as a kid, you're not allowed to fight. You're either a doctor or a lawyer or accountant. That's it. That's your only option. No other career choice. So when we see Izzy do it, and then when he's speaking Yoruba, or even when Francis, to be fair, when Francis is wearing a traditional Cameroonian outfit, it's wonderful. And how the UFC didn't do a UFC Africa when they had 3 African champions, disgrace.
Bottled it.
Disgrace.
Like Arsenal.
Yeah, like Arsenal.
Ade, you're a legend. Such a big fan of yours. Such a pleasure to work with you and the whole team over the weekend. You also have a great YouTube channel. They just type in your name and it pops up, yeah?
Yeah, Ade Oladipo, just type my name, and it'll pop up.
You're doing tremendous work, my friend. Continued success. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and I hope our paths will cross again soon, all right?
Ariel, top man, brother. Thank you so much. See you on Misfits, Ariel.
Oh, yeah, I'll see you there. There he is, the one and only Ade Oladipo. How good is that guy? That guy's the man.